I'm Steve from Within the Ruins, and this is Brutal Planet.
Hello, this is Ron Bumblefoot Thal of Sons of Apollo, and welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
This is Mike Howe from Metal Church, and welcome to Brutal Planet.
This is Lydia Graham from Lake City, and welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
This is Hulk Hoffman of Video. Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
This is JP from Syra, and welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Hey, this is Nick Reese from Joyous Wolf, and this is Brutal Planet Magazine.
We are Thunder Mother, and welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Tom Banglund here. Just want to welcome you guys to Brutal Planet Magazine.
This is Kevin from the Heavy Metal Shop. Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine. Hello, Metalheads. I'm Nils Patrick Johansson, known from Lions Air and Outdoors. Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Greetings and salutations, Brutal Planet. We got a good one for you today. Emma from Dying Wish is going to be here. And before we went live, Joey, we were talking about the Roadrunner United record, which I was going to explain to you. So basically what they did is they had like Roadrunner had all these killer bands at this time. It was in the late 90s. They had like Typo Negative, Machine Head, Trivium, like all and Slipknot. And they put together, oh, there's Emma. And they put together this like teams. So like there were like 3 or 4 different teams, like, and then there was a team captain. And so like Matt Heffy was a team captain and Johnny Kelly from Typo played on his team, and they all did like 2 or 3 songs each team.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a really great song on there with Daryl Palumbo from Glassjaw. And I think Joey Jordison plays drums on it. Anyway,
I'll have to check it out.
Let's bring Emma on because she's here. I don't want to keep her waiting.
What's up, y'all?
Emma. Hello.
Hi, how we doing?
Really good, thank you. Are you in Portland currently, or are you out on tour?
I'm in Portland. We leave tomorrow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was just up in Portland a couple weeks ago, and I saw this band Beats Antique, and I had such a killer time. I love Portland.
Awesome. Where are y'all from? Is this Midwest or?
Joey is in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm in the Twin Cities.
And I'm in LA.
Awesome. Very cool.
Not in LA, but like the suburbs of LA.
Yeah, it's, the greater area.
Yeah. So I just was watching Dying Wish on Hate 56. Do you know Hate 56?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw you wearing a Damian Lillard jersey. So I had to ask, are you a basketball fan?
Yeah, diehard Trailblazers fan. So it's rough out here for us right now, but still rooting for Dame. Hope he does well in Milwaukee.
That sucks.
But it is what it is. I think it was a long time coming at this point, but yeah, I'm just a fan of the league and the sport overall. So I have other teams that I can root for.
Yeah, I'm a Utah Jazz fan because I grew up in Utah,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a knife to my heart when Donovan Mitchell left a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel your pain.
You're not doing too bad right now, though. I think you're in a
No.
good stage. I had Laurie McCannon on my fantasy last year, and he was awesome.
Yeah, the new coach they have, Will Hardy. I guess he was like a protege to what's the guy's name in San Antonio?
Popovich.
Popovich,
Pop.
yeah,
Mhm.
yes, and he's been awesome. Anyway, we don't want to bore people too much.
I mean,
sports stuff.
I could talk about basketball all day, but
I'll just listen. I'm not a basketball guy at all, but I'll listen.
he's
Nah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, Joey's more of a football guy.
Hey, me too. Yeah.
I love football too. So let's talk. I'm really happy about this because we cover a lot of different bands, but I definitely lean more into the hardcore world, and so I'm really happy to have a band like you on here, and I want to go into the weeds as much as we can. How much time do we have you for, by the way? Do you have a 30-minute deadline, or?
You got me for, I think, a full 45. So.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
We'll try to keep you interested for that long.
Okay, cool.
So the new record is called Symptoms of Survival, and it's out November 3rd.
Yep. Sharp Tone Records.
Awesome. Talk a little bit about the recording process, and did you guys do any of this during COVID, or is this all? How did you record it? Where did you record it?
Yeah, well, actually, our first record we did during COVID in August of 2020. That was an interesting experience, traveling across the entire US to do a record and get stuck in a warehouse. But this one was very different. We had a record under our belt, so we were more prepared, and we'd been touring so much over the last, like, in the year and a half of the release from Fragments into writing this record. So we started writing it in July of last year, and then we went back for another week in studio in September of last year. And in between tours, so we're going in for a week, and then we're going out on tour, and we're going back in, and then we finished it. We did 5 weeks in March, going in, and we had probably 15 or 16 songs on the table to choose from by the time we started really tracking vocals and wrapping everything up. So it was a great experience. We were out in the middle of rural New Jersey, in Newton, and in a cabin, no cell service if you leave the house for a good like 10 minutes. So it's a really nice immersive experience just to be like out in the middle of the woods, writing a metalcore record.
Do you write all the lyrics, right?
It's a collaborative process between myself and our guitar player Pedro. We have a very different writing style, so you can establish pretty quickly when you're listening, like who wrote what kind of. But yeah, we work really well together.
Did you guys, with this record, did you have like a kind of any kind of like common threads or concepts, or did you just go in on a song by song basis and kind of come at everything from that angle?
Yeah, we actually kind of mapped out, we wanted it to be very thematic. So, and, just kind of have a very cohesive vibe to it. So we mapped out all of the topics that we wanted to cover, and came up with about, 15 topics. Not all of them made it. And then, of course, a song or two is just nothing fit. So we decided to just roll with something different. But we kind of had a more structured process that way, as opposed to just like kind of writing as we go.
Got you. So I like to ask bands to tell their origin story, and you can go as deep as you want with that, but how did the band come together? How did y'all get started?
Rewind to 2007. That's when I met Pedro, our guitar player, and Jeff, our drummer. So we grew up going to shows together, having kind of a mutual love for music. It started with like, MySpace bands and metal. And then we, once we got into high school, we started going to hardcore shows. And then, we'd go to festivals, take road trips to go to hardcore fest together and stuff. So that's how it happened. And I think it was about 2015. There was kind of like a severe lull in, our local hardcore scene here. So I took it upon myself to just start booking shows. I wanted to get involved, and I wanted to be, a part of it getting better. And so that's when I went to P and Jeff, and I was like, hey, we should start a band. And then we started a band, didn't love it, kind of dissolved it, and then started a new project when we met Sam, with the three of us and him. And then he's kind of the one that, writes all of the riffs. And, it was very like, he wanted to pay homage to early 2000s metalcore, and, At the Gates is his favorite band, and he's like a wizard guitar player. And so it kind of just all worked out that way. And we've been doing it ever since. I think we started the band. The idea started in like 2017. We put out our demo in 2018.
Awesome. what are some of your influences? Because you guys definitely obviously have a lot of hardcore influences, especially if you're showing up on Hate 5-6. But like, what are some of the bands that really influenced you to do this style of music, or kind of brought you into the scene?
Well, as far as like hardcore goes, Hatebreed, Terror, um, I don't know. There's so many. Broader, I think that, I started listening to the Black Dahlia Murder when I saw their docu film in like 2008. So, just kind of a whole array. We've kind of all intersected by listening to hardcore death metal and like metalcore. We all like a little bit of all of that. So we have a pretty wide variety of influences.
Awesome. Yeah, there's I love the Black Dahlia Murder. So and At the Gates is another band. Like, that's not a band I've heard mentioned in a long time, but very influential. Like, I don't know if they get enough credit. I think Black Dahlia Murder would cite them as an influence. So
Yeah, a lot of people say that At the Gates is like the first real metalcore band, and I feel like I agree with that. Slaughter of the Soul is like, like probably the first real metalcore record we ever heard. So
wow, I never thought about that, but that is the truth, I think. We talk to a lot of Swedes on this show too. We have a lot of. I think that's largely Eric, but not as many. Like, that's a band that I would love to talk to. Most of the bands we talk to are a little more on the power metal side, or a little like more melodic type metal. So
yeah, I did see them with who was it? Arch Enemy and Amon Amarth in like 2019, and At the Gates played the best show I'd ever seen. Ever. They sounded incredible.
wow, with Amon Amarth too. That's like the ultimate like Swedish duo.
Oh yeah, Portland loves Amon Amarth.
The Viking metal thing is. I have friends in Texas who are like way into them. They're like kind of hipster. That I'm like, wow, you like that band? You're not just being ironic. Like, you literally like that band.
I think a lot of people like Amon Amarth more than we would expect, but
yeah. Joey, I've kind of like been yapping the whole time.
No, it's all good. I mean, I got distractions here. The kids are making noise outside the door, and I got my little cat here. I didn't even know she was in the office, and all of a sudden I caught her in the background. I'm like, oh crap.
Cute.
Yeah, this is Lexi.
She's hiding from the chaos.
She's.
Oh, I love her.
Well, you can come hang out with her if you want. She's a pain sometimes, but.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I didn't have access to the full album, but I've been listening to the singles and stuff on the EP or whatever, and I wanted to ask you about the "Torn from Your Silhouette" song. I personally like to hear like the background, like what inspired the song, or what's the story behind the song and stuff, and I really like that one a lot.
Yeah, that was actually the first song on the record that we wrote. We wrote like a batch of like 3 or 4. We knew we wanted to get started on singles, and that, like, as soon as we wrote it, we were like, that's it. The working title was How We Doing, like Howard Jones, Howie for short. Like, we get kind of crazy with the working titles, but that was very much inspired by like an early Killswitch song, End of Heartache era. I think that I talk about it a lot as I'm doing this whole like press circuit. Like, that has been one of our biggest inspirations throughout Fragments, but I think it's very intentionally, it sounds very intentional on this record as well. But yeah, very Killswitch lyrics. I don't know. I just kind of felt not uninspired, but I was like, I don't really feel like, I think the song just needed to be kind of plain a little bit lyrically, because I thought that all that really mattered was the breakdown at the end and the amazing catchy chorus. And so I was like, I'd been very much on the wave of there's the lyric in the song, I'd rather feel everything than nothing at all. And so it's just a very like emotional, like I feel everything, like I'm sensitive song, which it's not really written about much in particular, but
okay. Yeah, sometimes you get the story behind the song and you're like, wow, I would have never known that, but it brings the song to a whole new meaning, and so
There's a few of those on the record, for sure. Pretty more personal anecdotes or not, but that one was kind of just like the most like, generic lyric song.
sure. Well, it's a killer song. Is there any songs on the album about Jeremy?
Not really. um I mean, probably eventually he'll get a love song or something.
Yeah, we need one of those.
Or, so
So Dustin, if you don't know, as far as I know, Emma, are you still dating Jeremy?
of course, yeah.
Okay, Jeremy from Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, okay.
So they're a couple. So I had to ask if there was any.
No,
any
that's good. I
Secret
didn't know
songs
that.
out there.
No, yeah, he's my future husband, but he doesn't have a song yet. So
We got to get him a
he
song.
will. Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
I need one too.
So how did you? I'm sure you probably met Jeremy in the scene or whatever, but how did you guys get hooked up?
We met on tour. So last year they did their zombie EP
Mm-hmm.
headliner. They were playing both Zombies back to back and Greatest Hits. Right before they came out with Color Decay, which I mean is fantastic.
I just listened to it yesterday, actually. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's so good. I'm just like, it's cool to see what they're doing after 18 years of being a band. But so we met on tour, and it was very much like, we were hanging out every day, like besties, and then it just kind of got to a point where I was like, I think we like each other. So yeah, and then kind of kept it a secret for a while, just because like, even though we knew that everyone around us knew that was happening, we kind of like we were like, I was worried about like people judging us or something, because I've always presented myself very professionally. I don't really like to date people like that I like work with, I guess. So but I mean, it was just like undoubtable and inevitable that we should be together. So we hit it for about a month, and then Kat was out of the bag, and everybody loves him, and we're perfect for each other. So
That's really cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Natural.
little love story.
Natural.
Every hardcore band needs a little love story.
Everybody needs love, whether they're hardcore or not.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about you're vegan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that, how that kind of colors your songwriting and stuff. Because one of my favorite bands is Earth Crisis, who vegan hardcore from day one. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm the only vegan person in the band, so I try not to talk about it too much, but there is a song on the record, and everyone's gonna hate me, but I am still stuck on working titles, so I think it's Kiss of Judas.
I think I saw that on the track listing.
It's a song about the planet and our destruction, and how we will go extinct, and then the planet will live on after us and have a beautiful regrowth because humans are toxic. But
I love
that. Yeah, I have a very strong view about our climate crisis, because veganism is such a it does have such a large impact on our resources and our footprint. So that's really the only song I've ever incorporated it in. But
and you're like low key about it too. You're not being like, it's probably written in a way so as to be like non-specific, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's kind of just, it's also about like corporate greed and how that is like, and military, and how those are the main contributors, but it all kind of intersects and factors into one another.
I just watched this thing that blew my mind about the soil. Like there's this movie going around. I think it's called Common Ground, but it's about like people are like talking about the climate crisis, and the premise of it is like, yeah, we're busy polarized and fighting over the air quality, but the soil is where the real problem is, because of all the pesticides and the terrible things that are industrial farming does to the land. And it's all about regenerative farming and how it's actually profitable if people can put it to work. But these massive interests, like Monsanto's of the world, are preventing it from being a thing because they can't sell pesticides and all the chemicals that are currently used in agro business.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'll have to watch that. But yeah, I mean, then again, there's the corporate greed over the health of planet and humanity. It's always going to take precedence.
Yeah, it seems to be in everything. So I'm on the same page with all that kind of stuff. We don't have to go too far down that road.
How long have you been vegan?
I'm coming up on 8 years.
Okay. Have you noticed like really big health benefits and stuff like from the dietary standpoint as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, I feel healthier, but I also it's getting to the point where I don't really remember not being vegan a lot of the time.
Sure.
Yeah, my overall health, I think, has gotten a lot better, especially as I've aged, because I'm 29 now. So I went vegan when I was 21.
Okay.
So, as you know how your body changes when you're in your 20s and you start to slow down a little bit.
Emma, it gets worse in your 30s.
Yeah.
And, like we're way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my energy, it affects my energy levels.
Sure.
I feel, good all the time for the most part. So
yeah, I'm always curious to hear like when people make that switch, whether it's just vegetarian or vegan or whatever, like just hearing the health benefits that come from that. And I personally haven't taken that leap yet, but it's just the older I get and the more my body's breaking down, the more I'm like, you know what, I'm willing to give up some things to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you another funny story, because Mike from Prada is also vegan.
He is? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did not know that when I interviewed him earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
So originally I'm from Wisconsin, and I know he's been living by Milwaukee for quite some time now. And I thought, I'm gonna connect with Mike right off the bat. I'm gonna tell him, we're gonna connect over cheese in Wisconsin because it's so good. and he was not biting on anything I was giving him, and I'm like, what is going on? Well, later on in the interview, I find out he's vegan, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, he's not. I mean, I don't think a lot of vegans want to be the ones that are like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm vegan. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, cheese is great. She's Wisconsin, cheese state. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyways, that's my nerdy story.
I love that. Mike is awesome.
Yeah, he obviously had a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
He's not like self-righteous or anything.
No, yeah. I mean, like, I've seen a lot of my friends not be vegan anymore recently, and like, I get it. It's disappointing. Do whatever makes you happy, but if anyone ever wants to talk to me about veganism, I will. But if they don't ask me about it, there's enough resources out there. They can figure it out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there still any like smells that you're like, man, I kind of wish I could eat that, or do you not have that? Because like you gotta admit, bacon smells good.
It does. I'm not really ever around it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe I'm just there are certain things that like I don't know. Yeah, like I know it smells good. I remember that's like one of the things I remember tastes amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can think about it and still taste it. Like beef, I don't really remember, but
sure.
Yeah, I think of anything, what I miss most is like seafood.
Sure.
And like mussels, oysters, and they're actually doing research now to find like if it's more of a plant life than like a sentient being. And so there's like kind of this discussion in the vegan community about it right now, and I'm definitely not going to be the first like vegan to start eating like mussels and oysters, but it'll be interesting to see if that's the case or not.
Sure. Well, regardless of what you choose to do or not, I think it's great that you stay with your convictions and do that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and even with that kind of stuff, I understand. Like, I obviously eat meat, but I understand the, the logistical side of it, and I feel like even if you eat meat, like you got to support like, you know, uh, um, humane farming and
Mhm.
like grassroots, like taking care of animals and all that kind of stuff. Like the way that our system is now, it's disgusting. And
Hmm.
one of the guys I know who's a vegan said he became a vegan after he drove a motorcycle through Texas, through all the slaughter,
Oh,
like the
jeez.
slaughterhouse row. He's like, I was sick because it's open air and you can
Hmm.
just smell the death around you for
Mhm.
miles and
Hmm.
miles and miles. And that almost made me go vegan just hearing that story. I was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely went vegan for the animals. The health and the planet is kind of there are more secondary issues. I think the planet is starting to take a lot more precedence as time goes on, and we're realizing how severe our climate crisis is. But yeah, I definitely I went vegan for the animals. I just don't think that it's ethical. But I think that there are things that you can do to reduce your consumption, and if you don't want to be fully vegan, but you eat vegan cheese, or you stop eating meat, or you go pescatarian. I mean, any reduction of consumption under like capitalism is going to be helpful.
even Steve Jobs, who's a famously vegetarian, would eat unagi sushi with like the eel. So he even cheated a little bit
Yeah, yeah.
with seafood. I wanted to ask you, switching gears, so we're not spending the whole time talking about veganism.
Especially because we know nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me. Like, I like to talk.
It
To
is,
people.
yeah.
We've even Joey. We covered what was his name? The guy from Gojira, talking about how he has way more energy.
Oh yeah.
If he switched to a vegan diet.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you're touring and stuff, it makes sense. Like, you go out on the road and you're like eating strange McDonald's in every different town. Like, that's gonna have an effect.
Yeah, I only do that in Europe. They have, European McDonald's. But anyways, yeah.
I wanted to ask you about working with Knocked Loose, because they seem to be like one of the it bands in the heavy world right now. And I read some stuff about you working with them.
Mhm.
Talk about that a little bit. Like, how did that come about, and how did it go?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of met them organically, going to shows and like being in the scene and whatnot. We played a show with them that was like one of our first shows. They came through Portland, and they were doing a headliner. I think it was like Jesus Peace, Year of the Knife and Terror. And
Great lineup.
yeah, it was awesome. And we were just a new band, but there weren't a lot of bands in Portland at the time. So we were brand new, but they asked us to hop on the show. So we did, and it was awesome. And then, like a year later, Brian Garris hit me up and was like, "Hey, do you want to do a feature on our record?" And I was like, "Holy crap, yeah!" Like, and then we had written this song, Enemies in Red, and we were like, we want to get a feature on it. And then we were like, how about we trade features? So that just kind of happened really organically. And I think it's really cool what that band is doing to kind of pave the way for so many of us in the scene, by playing with Motionless in White, and going on tour with Suicide Boys, and they're just like, the possibilities are endless. And then they do a headlining tour, and they bring out bands like Koyo and Kubicon, and like all of these bands that they love in the scene and want to like really kind of like catapult off into a new platform, I guess.
That's awesome. I love the feature thing, because it's a thing. Like, I listen to a lot of different music. I listen to a lot of underground hip hop and stuff, and that's how I used to find artists, right? Like, I would hear someone's verse on another song and go like, who's that guy? Like, I gotta check his stuff out. So it's like, I love seeing that in metal, and it's like not very common. So it needs to be more common.
Yeah. I think it's pretty common in like hardcore. Like, there's a band, Pain of
True.
Truth. Like, they just put out a record with every single song has a different feature, which I think is awesome. Very community vibe. But we decided, I mean, it was kind of a quick decision to decide that on this record we didn't want any features. We just wanted to just do it ourselves. And I'm pretty happy about that decision, but I don't know if we'll do that again for the future.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like when you're making an album, you have a vision in mind, and you don't need any of that. But I like that. Like to your point about the community thing, I think there's a lot more of that in punk and hardcore than in the metal world, and there
Yeah,
needs to be more of
absolutely.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the metal community doesn't have a great community. Like I just went to a show this last weekend, and I was talking to someone about how the metal community has always been so accepting of every lifestyle. Like we've always had, for example, Rob Halford has been openly gay for a long time. Mina from Life of Agony transitioned a few years ago. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's always been like a big open tent, which I love.
I think that surprises a lot of normal people.
Yeah, because it's seen as this like a lot of people, like so many people. I remember, Joey, you'll appreciate this. I remember playing a Norma Jean song at work one day, and this guy comes out and he's like, "Can you turn your devil music off?" And I'm like, "Actually, this is a Christian band."
Yeah.
That's funny.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, so the last question I have, Joey, and then I'll let you ask anything else you want to have, is what are you listening to right now? And I love asking this question because it doesn't have to be metal. In fact, a lot of times it's not metal. But like, what are you like spinning heavily right now? What do you listen to a lot?
The new Movements record called Ruckus. Awesome. Love the direction that band is taking. Guts by Olivia Rodrigo is awesome.
What is that?
Olivia Rodrigo, she's like,
Oh,
she was
Olivia
like
Rodrigo.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear what you said. Okay. Yeah, I love
pop
that. I love
music.
pop music.
Oh yeah.
Please
Yeah,
keep going.
I just didn't really listen to pop music a lot as a teenager because I was like, edgy and cool, and I had to listen to metal, So now as an adult, I'm like kind of appreciating it a lot more. The new Military Gun record is amazing. Life Under the Gun, I think is what it's called. What else? I've been listening to a lot of Meshuggah because I travel a lot. And my favorite thing to do on the plane is to download Meshuggah, put it on my headphones, and then just take a nap. It's like a really good nap soundtrack for anyone who wants to try it. Obzen is a really good record for it.
I wonder if it's like the rhythm patterns or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like the seamless transitions.
That band, I was saying the other day, of the last like 20 years in metal, I think they're probably one of the most influential bands. Like so many bands, like that style of kind of like broken, like off kilter rhythm is pretty popular because of them largely.
Yeah, the riffs are just great.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to listen to the Olivia Rodrigo album because I listen to all kinds of stuff like that. Like I love like Carly Rae Jepsen and like, Britney Spears and Lady Gaga and all that stuff.
I'm gonna show my ignorance here. I've never even heard of Olivia Rodrigo.
She's Disney.
Okay.
She's Disney, like Demi Lovato or.
Emma, I got 4 kids that take up most of my time, so even when I get to listen to music, a lot of times I don't have time to check out new stuff.
They're probably listening to Olivia Rodrigo.
100%. Yeah, if they're on TikTok, they know. Yeah.
That's where everything comes out of these days.
Mm-hmm. It's good. She does a lot of like rock songs, So, yeah, I love it. I think it's awesome.
A good song. Cover.
Oh, do a cover.
Do a cover.
Oh God. I don't know if we'll ever be a cover band, or a band that does a cover, but maybe like for my own personal social media, I've done a couple.
Have you?
Yeah, like over the pandemic, like I posted like a Paramore cover where I just like singing the song, but yeah.
Another band I love. Their last album, I think, was like one of the best rock records to come out in the last couple years.
Really?
It has a song called "The News" that I love. Like it's almost like I love that they also kind of reinvented themselves a little bit because I love their older stuff that's more like almost like grunge guitar heavy, like real big guitar sounds, and their newer stuff is almost like 80s retro kind of, but like also a little bit of like indie. Like it doesn't sound like their old stuff, but it's still really well written song. And I'm big on lyrics too. I love her lyrics.
Yeah, I on my initial listen, I didn't love it so much, but then I just kept listening to it because that's one of my favorite bands, and the songs got stuck in my head for sure. Like they're catchy. It definitely grew on me, but I haven't really revisited it very much.
Yeah, that's true. Me either. There's not much that I revisit a lot. So now that I
Yeah.
think about it, I need to revisit that though.
I'm kind of a dinosaur. I'm the opposite. I just listen to the stuff I really like, and I have to force myself to like listen to new stuff.
Respect.
Going back to the cover thing though, it might be cool for you guys to do something like that, just tongue in cheek, just like a couple bars of it. Like I don't know if you know the band Mr. Bungle at all, but they used to always do stuff like that. Like they're insane. It's like the most insane music. They're from actually Northern Cal, from Humboldt County.
Okay.
But it's Mike Patton from Faith No More's original band.
Awesome.
But they would do stuff like when I saw them a couple years ago, they were on a tour. This was like a long time ago, but they were on a tour with Disturbed and Mudvayne, and they came out and did What the World Needs Now Is Love, Sweet Love, like as their opening track, just to like troll all the like metal people. So like that kind of stuff. Like you guys could like, oh, was that Olivia Rodrigo they just played for a second? Mike.
I love that. Yeah, Counterparts. They're on the Devil Wears Prada tour that's happening right now. They
I love that
play
band.
Olivia Rodrigo before they go out on stage.
Oh, okay.
And
I love
on
it.
their previous tour, they did the 1975. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly like that's their like warm up music.
Mm-hmm.
It's as Jimmy Page would call it, light and shade, like the contrast. Like before we like set the place on fire, we're gonna play something nice and middle of the road.
The calm before the storm.
You're starting a tour tomorrow, you said? What area of the country are you heading to now?
We leave tomorrow night. We're gonna drive overnight to Santa Cruz, where our first show is, and then Fresno, Vegas, Texas, and then we're going on a cruise. So it's pretty exciting start to the headline extravaganza.
Have you guys done the cruise thing before?
No, I've never. I don't think any of us have ever been on a cruise.
I've never been on a cruise.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect.
I have a bunch of friends who are like older metalheads who have done a couple of those like metal cruises, and they loved it. They said it was amazing. They just, because you just are on a boat partying with the bands and everyone's playing, and it sounds amazing. It made me
I'm a little stressed about that. Just because I have social anxiety. So I'm a little stressed about like the being like in with the crowd all the time, and just like going to the pool and like all of that stuff. Like, I don't know, I'm very self-conscious, so I'm like, but I think it'll be interesting. And I had a friend who did Shiprocked and said that everyone on the boat was really respectful crowd wise. So I'm probably just thinking worst case scenarios in my brain as usual. But
you can always go to your room and listen to Meshuggah.
Yeah,
exactly, and take a nap. Yeah. True.
Well, that's pretty much all the questions I have. Joey, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I was excited just to chat and pick your brain a little bit. So it's I like I said, I didn't get to listen to the whole album yet. I haven't got the stream, but the songs on Spotify and stuff, they're great.
Are incredible. I listened to the whole thing. I got Joey. I don't know why you don't have the streamer, but I'll make sure you get it. But I listened to it twice all the way through, and I love records like that because there's a lot to take in. It's like the songs are short but dense. They're not short either, but they're not long.
Yeah,
hardcore songs.
I think the longest song is like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, but they're dense, and I like. There's a lot going on. Like, that's why I love metal and hardcore, because you can listen to a 3-minute song and it has like 15 different changes and riff patterns in it. So that's definitely what I got from it, but I need to listen to it a couple more times. But it's a great record. It's out November 3rd, right?
Are you guys doing survival?
Are you guys doing any kind of like special promo for fans, like vinyl shippings or any, like pre-orders or anything like that?
I mean, we did pre-orders. They're still up online. On the tour, we're going to have the vinyl early. So if you come to a show before November 3rd and buy a record, you can hear it before it comes out. So I think we did that with Fragments too. I think that's exciting, an exciting way to get it into people's hands and, make them feel like they, can hear it before everyone else if they come to a show. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I also want to say it's been crazy to me doing this for the last year. How many incredible female-fronted heavy bands are out right now, and I mean I think you guys are obviously one of the top tier, but there's a lot. It's great to see. Just watching you guys on the 856 channel, like that's like my favorite channel. I watch. I went, oh, Dying Wish is on here. Incredible! Like you guys have an intense live performance, and I'm really stoked to see you guys. When you get out here to LA, if you get out here on this tour. So
yeah, we play on December 1st. We're at Midnight Hour in San Fernando Valley.
Awesome. Oh, that's close to me too. I'm definitely gonna be there.
I love that venue. It's awesome.
I don't think I've ever been there. Like usually when I go to shows here, it's like in LA, like at the Belasco or the Novo or something like that. So
yeah,
awesome.
Love the Valley.
Awesome. Joey, you got anything else?
Just come up to Minneapolis sometime.
We are. Yeah, we're doing it on this tour next month.
Next month.
There you go.
It's starting to get cold.
What's
the
it
snow
called?
starts
Amsterdam?
falling. Oh, at the Amsterdam? Wow.
Yeah.
So that's only like 7 minutes from my house. Pretty
Awesome.
small venue. It'll be wild.
Good. Yeah.
Two things to add. Joey's an amazing photographer. He's very good at photographing bands.
Go on. Go on.
Yeah, we had this conversation the other night about how it's like people don't understand how hard it is to photograph concerts. People are moving and the lighting is terrible. So anyway, if Joey
and I've noticed like even hardcore bands and stuff are even tougher because like you go to the bigger bands in the arenas and stuff, everything's well lit and all that. But you get into the smaller clubs, there's no photo barrier or anything like that, and it's wild, the dark lights, it's tough, but it's fun.
Yeah, our photographer Gabe, he's been with us for years now. He's always said like I've been like, oh, like I really love like this photo that you took, like I'd love to get one of like that for me. And he's always like, well, you have to stand still for more than 3 seconds if I were to get a photo like that. I'm like, you're right. I do be just like bopping around all the time up there. So
that's cool.
I was also going to give you props for knowing all the venues you're going to be at. That's pretty badass. Like, you're like, oh yeah, we're going to be.
Yeah, that was wild.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very involved in like this whole headliner. I think about it every second of every day. I booked the Portland show. I'm helping promote that. So, I was literally on the street yesterday putting up flyers around town. So, yeah, it's.
No, you're the real deal.
It's my job,
A lot of musicians are like, what city am I in? They don't even know. And it's like,
ask the tour manager.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Check Master Tour. Yeah.
Right.
Well, Emma, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. This was awesome.
Appreciate your time and please come back through and talk to us again when you're promoting something else, when you guys got a new single or new tour or anything.
Let us know how the cruise went.
Thank you. Wait, do you guys do reviews?
Yeah.
Okay, duh. But I'm pretty sure I've watched your reviews before because I watch reviews all the time just to see what people think about stuff. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys get to do one we're doing a music video for a song that's on the record that comes out after the record comes out. So if you want to do that, or I mean, even if you just want to do a record review, no pressure, but I'd love to watch it.
Oh, we'll definitely do a record review. We usually write them. We need to start doing. Honestly, there's a bunch of stuff I want to do. To be honest with you, we really started leaning into this live stream thing just this year. We've been in existence for a couple years, so to your point, we should probably do some more live reviews.
We got
and
some
we'll just do one for you
and stuff too, but it's
awesome. Well, this was great, guys. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks again for your time. The new record again is Symptoms of Survival. It's out November 3rd through Sharptone. And everybody check it out. It's fucking amazing.
Yay.
Well, I don't know how you did that. That's awesome.
Sick. All right. Thanks, Emma. We appreciate
Awesome.
you.
Thanks, guys.
See
See
you
ya.
around.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. You guys heard it. You know the deal. Joey's got stuff to do, so we're gonna sign off for this one. But go check out Dying Wish. Get on if you want to see how badass this band is. This is what I'm gonna say before we go. Go on YouTube and search Hate 56 Dying Wish and watch their set on Hate 56. It's fucking sick.
I'm gonna check that out. You
You
put me onto that channel. That's a good channel.
Oh man, I love that channel. They have a Lamb of God, like a professionally filmed Lamb of God concert on that channel. They have so much great stuff. Like every like underground hardcore band you can think of has a Hate 56. The Hate Breed one, the Earth Crisis one. Oh my god, it's just I'll just gush for hours about it. But anyway, check it out. Thanks for jumping on, Joey. I know you got a lot going on. All right, y'all. Keep it brutal.
Bye.